I'm headed back down to the place that fixes my car to get one of the tires that they took off yesterday. I'm gonna have that put on the rim that I got yesterday and make sure that the rim does fit this car, but I'm 99% sure it fits. It looks exactly like, you know, the wheels that are on this car. It came off of a 2000, well, it was laying next to a 2005 Honda Odyssey. So I assume everything's good to go on that, but I'm going down to do that. I just was going down the street in this building that's been abandoned for quite some time. You know, it was open, sort of, like not the front door, but like there were windows on the second floor that were open. You know, I stopped and I asked the guys that were working, I said, do you buy that? And they said, no, it's my friend's, and he's finally decided to do something with it. And it's a pretty big building. It was a home. It's sort of shaped like a barn. It's real plain. I liked it. If I would have had the money, I would have bought it, because I'm into like old dilapidated houses. But they wanted 25 grand for it. So, you know, it was more dilapidated than my house was when I bought it, and a lot more. So it just seemed like a lot of work. Although, I'll tell you one thing about that building is it's sort of totally gutted already. Nobody did anything to it. It's just been empty for years. My house has layers upon layers of linoleum and paneling, and then drywall, then paneling. It was crazy how everybody did it. So they might have an easier time doing, you know, getting that building going. But I'll tell you the thing that freaks me out about that building too. It's open. It's been open, and it's almost May, and you know, there is only one animal that bothers me, and that would be bats. I'm not a fan of bats. I'm a fan of them. I like them at a distance. I don't like them living in any part of my house. That was a nightmare, having a bat fly around in my fucking house. They're a rabies vector. They are. Don't tell me bats are good and all this shit. I don't like them, okay? I'm not afraid of any dog. I'm not afraid of any, you know, it doesn't matter. A possum, I'll pick it up and move it and shit like that. I'm not afraid of any animal, but I will admit, bats wig me out. Now, you know, with that said, you understand, a bat was in my house in the mudroom. I manned up, I put gloves on, and I took it outside, okay? And knowing that the bat was crawling on my floor in the middle of the day is not a good sign. You know, that's not a good sign. You don't want to see a nocturnal animal during the day. So I manned up, I put gloves on, and took it outside. So I can do it, but I don't like them, man. So buying that building, that's what I kept thinking, was like, man, that building's got to have bats in it, you know. It's a real tall building too. They, you know, I suspect that they've been going in there a long time. If I see bats this year, which this has been like 2 years without them, if I see them this year, I'll deal with it, or I'll have someone else deal with it. I'll probably deal with it because I'm fucking cheap, you know. But where they were in my house was I have a like cinder block chimney for a wood burning stove, and that was built next to the house. So there's probably an inch or two, right, in between the cinder block and the house. They were living in that thing, like in that space. It's perfect. So that's all sealed up. They can't get in there, and they haven't in a couple of years. I hope that they don't come back, because I don't like them. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. They knew that I didn't like them, and I would be, you know, waiting to see, like I blocked up some of the holes, right? but they could still get out. I didn't want to like trap them in there and let them die. But they knew that I blocked up some of the holes, and I am not making this up. When they were coming out at dusk, I would be standing over by my neighbor's house. They would see me and they would come at me. Like I'd have to duck. They were fucking with me. It was crazy. I figured, like, you know, most of the time, you know, animals don't want to fuck with a human, have anything to do with it. These bats were coming out and going right at me. They were being aggressive. They suck blood. I'm telling you. I don't care if you say that they just eat insects. To me, they're all blood suck. They're killing insects. They like mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are full of blood. My grandmother, this is a true story, when I was like 4 and 5, she would watch this soap opera called Dark Shadows that had to do with vampires and shit. She would let me watch it too. But it would make my mother furious because I would be freaked out. Like, you know, I thought Barnabas Gordon was underneath my bed and shit. So I think that may have influenced me a bit on bats. But I remember working in Kerhonkson, New York at the National Shakespeare Conservatory. I was a cook. You know, I cooked food for the students. This was years ago. And I was in one of the cabins and there was a bat in there. And I had a black and white TV, and it didn't bother me. It just like, and I sort of liked it back then, but back then I was drinking. So I was fucking drunk, so I was out of my mind. You know? I said, oh yeah, it's a bat, isn't that cool? Drinking beer. Yeah, well, you sober up, bats aren't so cool. They aren't. Fuck them, man. Those are filthy little toxoplasmosis, a rabies vector, probably a host of other diseases that'll get you sick. It is, I'm not making this up when I say that they are sort of one of the animals that is sort of disease-ridden. They live in real, you know, they live right next to each other. It's sort of unavoidable. So if one gets it, then the others get it. You know, so toxoplasmosis almost definitely. It really is a known rabies vector in just about every state. Those little brown bats. I wish that they weren't. If they weren't a rabies vector, I might think differently of them. But they are. So I think that as an animal, it's a piece of shit. Not only that, but they're freaky. What they do, they remind me of my Chihuahua Mango with wings. It's just too weird. The flying mammal, you know? And listen, I'm all for freaky animals. If I could have a duck-billed platypus, you betcha. I'd have a nice pond for it, a running stream. That would be awesome. That's a freaky animal. It lays a fucking egg. But a bat? No, thanks. No, nobody should ever have a bat as a pet, or even contemplate having a bat as a pet. If you do, you're weird as fuck. No thanks. They belong, listen, bats hang out in cemeteries, you know? They do. I know they do at night, that's where they go. My new spare, it's not the tiny spare, it's a big spare. So if I do have a flat, I put this on, I keep traveling, you know? I don't have to worry about it. Doesn't fit, I'm gonna have less room in the back. I'll figure it out. That's better than one of those little donuts, you know? Even though it's not a real tiny donut for the Honda Odyssey, it's still a tinier tire. These are 16-inch wheels. I feel better now. I do. I can't believe that I've been driving around without a spare, you know. I'll tell you one thing, if you're gonna drive in Brooklyn, you better have a spare. There's nails and all kinds of shit. I'm at Walmart, I'm getting chicken. I'll I'll tell you what, the Trump news is getting real good, you know? They keep talking about, you know, Comey's book, and Comey's said that Trump's obsessed with talking about the urine allegations. I bet the story's true. I bet it is. He's a freak. I'd buy these ferns, you know? These grow wild though up here. I could just... I'm gonna be watching a dog, Hannity, right? This GSP. I know her dad. He goes hunting a lot and sees the wild ferns. He just dug them up, put them in their yard, and they work. And if I'm gonna use the ferns, I definitely want to use the ones you can eat. These are $5. I'd dig them up for free. I think I'll do that. I woke up right before Morning Joe was coming on, right? I turned the TV on, comes on. Everyone on that show looked like they were gonna burst out laughing. Seriously. Joe Scarborough kept like egging Trump on. Miko seriously looked like she was gonna burst out laughing. Comey's book, it's gonna bother Trump a whole lot. I don't put anything past Trump. It's the truth. I'm getting this rump roast, and I'm getting it for my Raven, my cat. Bella likes beef. You gotta add calcium if you do that. But I'm gonna use rump roast because one, it's real lean, right? Sometimes I use a chuck roast, but it's got a lot of fat on it, so I gotta shave that off for bucket. I could do that too, it doesn't matter. And I gotta get chicken for the dogs, chicken leg quarters. Like they have enough in the freezer. So like if I'm in Brooklyn, I'm coming to the house, I don't have to run to Walmart. Now that I got a big freezer, a bigger refrigerator, I can have quite a bit. And while I'm here, I'm gonna get pork loin if they have it, because that's what I feed Ike now, and it's really helped out his skin. There's tenderloin, I don't want that, I want half a loin roast. So I'll take one of these with me. The pork has been very, very helpful. His skin looks better than it's ever looked. So one of these lasts a few days. Once again, you have to add calcium. 4 cans of tuna for $2.18. That's really a good price. Okay, Bragg, their brand is almost $6. This is $2.98. No, $4.76. It's not that big of a difference. Oh well, I get it. I tell you, I'm sort of bummed out that I'm not seeing that. They had like a seafood bisque, sort of in a boil in a bag. I'm not seeing it. That really bums me out. The product was good. It was. It was like eating an MRE. You could just heat it up and eat it out of the bag, and the flavor was pretty good. Maybe let's try over by seafood. Maybe they moved it, like canned seafood or something. Fuck. Okay, they do have it. The seafood bisque in a bag. It's good. It's expensive, but you know, gotta do something for myself every now and then. That's the way of treating myself, is buying socks, like spending $5 on a bag of seafood bisque. I'm extravagant. While I'm here, I'm gonna show you all the brand of socks that sucks. Don't buy them. I'll show you the brand that's okay. Buy those. And I'm surprised because I bought, listen, where are they? Fruit of the Loom seems to be okay. Okay? That brand is okay, but this brand, Haine's, it's fucking garbage, man. Your feet will sweat in them. You're horrible. I'm never buying Hanes socks again. I don't know if I bought something that was like cool comfort fabric. It felt like it had like wool in them or something. I didn't throw them away because, you know, clean sock is better than a dirty sock, that's for sure, but I'm not buying Hanes anymore. They were garbage. And usually what I do is I buy the absolute cheapest, which is, you know, sort of like Walmart looking brand. I don't see them. But don't buy Hanes socks, man, they're bullshit. Like these work just fine, okay? They do, they work fine. They're not as shitty as Hanes. I'll tell you something that I just find absurd, and that's that these Dickies, these work pants, they're good quality, right? I like the material, you know. Dickies doesn't seem to make pants with a 30-30. They start at 32. What's up with that? Seriously. You know? Oh, we're gonna put out pants. We're gonna make pants, but we're not gonna make them with a 30 waist and a 30 inseam, because we want everybody that buys our pants to be a fat pig. You know? It's fucking unbelievable. Every year, you know, I come here all the time thinking, well, maybe they'll start making pants with a 30 waist. You know? No, they don't do that. Come on, like I'm not, my feet are tiny, that's true. I wear size 2 in the kids department. They're really, really tiny feet. But I mean, a 30 waist? They sell jeans that are 30 waist. This is a section I never come down to buy anything, and that's the underwear section. Long underwear, yes, it's functional. But regular underwear? No, I don't need them because I wipe my ass. Seriously, man, just, you know, you won't have to waste money on underwear if you start wiping your ass. I don't get it, but with chicks, that's a different story. One, they don't take a dump, or at least the ones I want to have anything to do with do not dump, and they look good in them, you know, they look real good in them. Would I date an underwear model? Yeah, sign me up, sure, why not? Who wouldn't, you know? That'd be awesome. And if you dated an underwear model and she's just walked around the house in her underwear too, not only at work, but at home, yeah, it's a fantasy and it'll probably never happen. But yeah, I would date one, sure. Now, I stopped drinking Red Bull, right? But instead of drinking Red Bull, I notice I've been eating a lot of these. I can go through a bag of them. So, you know, what am I gonna do? It's better than Red Bull. I won't eat them every day. Red Bull I was drinking every day, but as a snack, it's easier than making those, but you can make those. Just take your nonstick pan, put a little butter in it, throw the Parmesan on there, and just let it brown and it'll come right up. It's the same thing. I learned that from the chef in New York City. A friend of mine, Sarah Jenkins, taught me that. She's having like a dinner party or something. I didn't really stay. I don't like parties too much, but that was one of the, I went early, and that's what she was making. Here's seafood bisque. I'm gonna try, here's lobster bisque. It's reasonably priced at $3.36. I'm gonna try this one. Sure, why not? And they make a clam chowder. I'll try that too. I mean, if I was dating the panty model, I would be bragging about it all the time. I would. Of course. I have a friend, we'll call him Robert, okay? And Robert does real good on Tinder. Now, he's dating somebody right now. He didn't meet on Tinder. He does real good, period. You know, he's just like is this sort of like nice guy. You know, that's the routine he plays. That's him, though. He is actually a pretty nice guy. He's very nice, actually. So women pick up on that. And he's a dog trainer. So he does real good. And this one woman that he's dating, she's hot. She's great looking. He has a tendency to brag a little bit about how hot the women are, you know. And I don't blame him, you know. Why not? You know, sort of like, look at me. Look at what I'm doing right now. He's a bragger. Lots of guys are braggers. I have a friend who's another dog trainer friend. We'll just call him JD, right? That's the made-up name, JD. And JD was bragging that he was told that his jizz tastes like Scotch tape. That's sort of strange bragging about that, but that's bragging, you know? Oh yeah, all the ladies tell me that my jizz tastes like Scotch tape, you know? That's what he says. Actually, you know, I don't know, maybe it isn't the ladies telling him that, you know? Maybe he just knows his own jizz tastes like Scotch tape. I don't know. No, actually, I think he said, I was told my jizz tastes like Scotch tape. I said, you're disgusting, you know? That's gross. That's gross. Like, what if a chick tried to give you a Russian kiss? Do you know what a Russian kiss is? Russian kiss is when you get a knobber, okay? And the woman keeps it in her mouth, and then she puts it in your mouth, and then you put it where it should have been the first place if you're trying to get her pregnant, if you know what I'm saying. You know, I'd be like, what the fuck? Are you out of your fucking mind? No thanks. I don't want my own jizz in my mouth. You know? That's fucking foul. But I do appreciate, you know, every guy, you ask any guy, there's nothing worse than you know, chick will give you the knob or something, but she won't, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just sort of rude. Like, what is it, battery acid or something? It's not gonna hurt you. And, you know, I remember watching the Oprah Winfrey show back in the 90s, I think they were talking about it. There was a woman on there that was saying, you know, yeah, it's great for my skin. And I think one of the people on the panel or Oprah said, so you put it on your skin? And she said, no, I swallow it. Cleopatra. She was well known for that. Bring me one of the slaves, you know? She milked them like cows. She had beautiful skin. Beautiful, glistening, poreless. That's the whole deal with this Sasquatch thing. Like, you know, the thought is that like Sasquatch jizz could be used as like a beauty product. So, you know, I make about $1 million on YouTube every year, $1 million, something like that. But I'll probably make a lot more selling that stuff to the pharmaceutical companies for sure. Big money in that kind of stuff. You know, I do like these. These are pretty good, but you can't make these. And when I was eating them the other day, I didn't look at the package or anything. So when I'm hungry, so I was gonna eat some of these as a snack on the way home, and I noticed it says cheddar cheese. This is the cheddar crisp. Nothing else. It's 100% cheese, and so there's not a lot of like bullshit in these. My hands are filthy. I was planting pawpaw seeds this morning. But I got all kinds of mud on my hands and shit. Walking around at Walmart. Hey, you know, filthy on both hands. But I wanted to get them in. I wanted to get them in the ground because, you know, I got to go somewhere tomorrow. And it's starting to get warm. Last night this is true, last night when I went out in the yard, I had a light on, man. The night crawlers, there were thousands of them all over my yard. My yard was like moving like a squirming mass. It's crazy. So it was the first like warm night they came out. But I want to get them in there because they've been frozen. I had whole pawpaws frozen in my freezer that I was going to plant. I was going to eat those, but then they've been in the freezer, and then I forgot about them. So those are about 2 years old, but they've remained frozen. So I'm like, well, let's put them in the ground and see if they go, you know. So that's what I was doing. I did that real quick this morning. Just dug some holes, put some water storing crystals in there because they're not a drought tolerant plant, especially when they're real young. And I'll see if they go. But God, my hand, I'm filthy. Also, that could be from the tire too, but I don't think so. I think I was doing that right before I went out to take care of the car. So anyway, that's my story about pawpaws and my filthy fucking hands. I don't care. And I'm not gonna wash my hands, this is true. And I'm gonna eat some of these, because I don't have any way of washing my hands. I'm not like Jinyan, who has, she would be like, no way I'm doing that. You know, like she wouldn't even gotten this, she would have like dug in the dirt or whatever, but right after that, she would have washed her hands. Not me, I had to go get my car done. I'm not saying Jinyan is a germaphobe. Not really. But she's a lot more germophobic than me. I worry about bats. Jinyan worries about getting like a cold and shit like that, the flu. It sounds like she never would go in Walmart and not wipe off the bar of the cart. She's religious about that. This is true, she will take stuff when she puts it into her pantry and she'll wipe it off real quick with like a, you know, one of those disinfectant things. I would never do that. But then when I grill her, questions about this kind of shit. She's not totally Loney. She's about as loony as me, which I know there's a lot of people that are watching this going, yeah, well then she's pretty fucking loony, Peter. But she isn't totally loony. Like say something's ordered from like Amazon and it comes in a box and it travels, you know, in the box from Amazon or whatever. I said, would you wipe something like that off too? No, because, you know, viruses and stuff like that, it only lasts so long. So she's not freaked out about that. I would imagine that, I wonder if I don't know. You know, it's been a long time since I've seen Jinyan. This is the truth. I wonder if I'm walking in her house, if she's gonna make me take my shoes off like it's an Asian household. I bet, yes, because she talks about walking around in socks all the time. She's practically Asian. She is, but from Clayton, Missouri. and not Asian, but sort of. She's a girl is what she is. She's a girl and she's real clean, which most chicks are clean. Cleaner than me. Look at my hands. Filthy. I'm fucking filthy. Watkins Glen is a like tourist town, meaning like in the spring and summer and even the fall, a lot of people sort of move into the town temporarily, like with RVs. I'm seeing a lot of RVs, you know. I mean, like the town population increases immensely. It's right on Lake Seneca, you know. But the RV is something that, like, that's one of my fantasies, to have an RV. You know, just put the dogs in it, go wherever. I don't have to worry about it. I don't know. I think that's a lot of people's fantasies, though. That's what people buy them, and then they sit around. They don't really use them. Like the one down here, I saw like last week or whatever, or it wasn't even last week. It was, when was that? I don't know. It wasn't too long ago. I was at Parmenter getting my car fixed, but that was like, it had 48,000 miles on it. You know, but it was a 2001, something like that. It looked good, but I mean, obviously, 48,000 miles, and it's, you know, that old. It's 17 years old. That's not really using it much, you know. My other fantasy is a houseboat. Nothing fancy, not even really a houseboat, just a boat that I could sleep on. And that is actually within range of me getting something like that. That's the truth. That's not anything that like is like, oh, that's totally extravagant. I mean, you can get a used boat. That's another thing people get, and then, you know, they don't use them. They're just sitting around. They get rid of them. That is not that extravagant. I wouldn't be buying anything expensive anyway. I mean, I'm talking, you know, either some kind of speedboat for like $1,500, an old speedboat where it did have an area where you could just go below and take a nap. You know, I'm not talking about a galley and all that kind of shit. I mean, just some place that I could take the boat out with the dogs and just like spend the night on the lake, something like that. Or my other thing, and this is within total, you know, you know, I could probably do something like this, is a pontoon type boat, but it's closed in. So it's sort of like a cabin on top of the pontoon boat. You know, it's just like plywood or whatever, and it's sort of like a moving duck blind. So in the winter, I could use it as a duck blind, and same thing in the summer or whatever. I could just do this. I could take the sides off, you know, if it's just plywood or something, and it has a heater in it. So if it's, you know, if I'm cold, I can turn the heater on. You know, you're not talking about a great deal of money there either. This is one of those things, like, I'm cheap, so I don't really go out. I don't have an extravagant lifestyle, that's for sure. No vacations, mostly because what am I gonna do? Am I gonna leave Remy at home, you know? No, I'm not, you know. Who would take care of Remy? Who would take care of Sam the Raven? My dogs, you know? You know, my vacation is me either being at the house, so I've been at the house for a while. Now I'm gonna go down to Brooklyn, and then I get a little vacation from the house. So when I'm down in Brooklyn, it'll sort of be a vacation because I won't be working on the house, and that's what I've been doing lately. So I want to finish the inside of the house first, and then I'll deal with the outside of the house, which is hideous. It is. It's pretty hideous. Not as bad as some. I'm not looking at a huge amount of money to fix it. I just have to find somebody that'll just, I don't know, just repair my fucking siding, not give me a whole, you know, to do the whole house is $10,000 for the siding. No, I'm not spending 10 grand on something like that. I mean, if I had a shitload of money, yeah, I'd call somebody up and say, get out here and give me an estimate for, you know, I might even consider like having them put faux stone, you know, like they got that fake stone, you can put that on the house. But that's if I had a ton of money. But, you know, I'd just call them up, just get out here and put siding on my whole house, you know. That's not, that's not in my, you know, I don't have that kind of money to do shit like that. I'm 55, I'm probably always gonna have to work, you know. I'll be 75, I'll be training a dog in a wheelchair or something. You know, I don't see that I have too many options. It's not like I have a, you know, any type of like 401k or anything like that. It seems like investing in the market now, it seems like it's too late for me, you know. That's the way it looks. I'm trying to invest in YouTube by creating other channels, you know, these backup channels in case something happens to my one channel, which it very possibly could. I still would have some kind of income coming in when I was, you know, 75. If anybody wants to watch me, yeah, oh yeah, I bet trolls would love to watch the old man that, you know, doesn't have the best attitude at times. Sure, they go on there and call you names and shit. That exists now. I'm only gonna be 55, and I hear people call me old man and all. I'm not that old. I'm 55. I'm not that young, but I'm not like, you know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, as 55 old man, that just seems, I don't know. It's just people, you know, say things like, sort of like Trump does. Like, I had some guy on my page just the other day. It was, I don't friend anybody. I don't accept friends anymore on Facebook, in case anybody's wondering. So when they come in, I'm not gonna accept you, all right, unless you were smoking hot. Then I might consider it, but probably not unless you sent me some real nice pictures along with it. You know, maybe I might consider that, but chances are I'm not gonna accept anybody as Facebook friends. I have over 1,000. Most of these people I don't know, and that guy, I had no idea who he was. He was saying something on my page, like, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know who you fucking are, you know? No idea who this fucking idiot is. He told me, I said, well, why did you even friend me? Because you put out good dog training videos. Oh, that makes total sense. And that's what he said. Well, why didn't you just stay on YouTube? You know? If you can't handle hearing that I can't stand Trump, you know, it's my right to say that, and this is my own personal page. You know, I have that right. It's like YouTube is not a democracy. It isn't. If you can't handle me here, if you can't handle it, me starting to gloat now, I'm starting to gloat about Trump. I mean, that's just how it is. I vote GOP. I did not vote for this man. I would have never voted for him. There's no way I was going to vote for a man that seemed to lack any type of morals and is just lies about anything and everything. That's what Comey says too in his book. The man will lie about big things and small things. He just lies constantly. But this is something that everybody knows. It seems like some people, 35%, don't really care about him lying. Oh, I do. He's the president. You know, I just, I'm going to keep talking about this, and especially now, because it really looks like, my guess is he's going to try and get rid of Rosenstein or Mueller. He's going to try and do something to control the situation. And then I'm hoping that the Republicans in the House and the Senate just are, you know, go, look, we can't have this, you need to resign, like they did with Nixon. Because if they don't, there will be outside that White House millions of people protesting. You think that the Women's March was big? If Trump should be impeached and the Republicans don't do it, you know, it's going to be millions of people. And I'm telling you right now, Fox is all propaganda. It is, man. Those shows like Sean Hannity and Judge Jinyan, man, they are propaganda for Trump. And I'm not really sure why. Oh, I know why. Because they want ratings, right? They want their shows to be, and they know that Trump's base is their base. So they say all kinds of stuff that really is not true. It isn't. And I'll tell you something about not James Caine, but Robert Mueller. He is a decorated war hero. He ran the FBI longer than everyone. Nobody has ever said anything bad about this man ever until Trump knows he's going down and he's fighting it. So he's trying to, you know, talk mud about somebody that is really a patriotic man that has done nothing but serve our country honorably. It's absurd that anybody would be bad-mouthing Robert Mueller. If you're being investigated and you have nothing to worry about, you know, you haven't done anything wrong, you shouldn't be acting this way. And I'm telling you, if you voted for him and you're not seeing this as like something that's important, seriously, he very well could have been it. Listen, they lied about dealing with the Russians. They just flat out lied, and then they're caught in the lie. It looks very suspicious, okay? Real suspicious. It's clear that the Russians meddled in the election. That's clear. Not once has Trump ever like worried about it. Because you know why? It's because he thinks that if he can make it to the next election, they're going to help him again. I don't know what the Russians are going to do in November about those elections. Seriously. There's just so many of them. I don't know if they can impact the way that they impacted with just one candidate. You know, I wonder if the Republicans aren't, you know, standing up to Trump because they actually want help from the Russians. That's the way it looks. My own party, I'm like, I can't even fucking deal with. The only person that I know that's running for a Republican seat that I think I have no problem with is somebody that's running for senator in Wisconsin. That's Richard Painter. Everybody else is sort of questionable at this point. I think Richard Burr is probably okay. I think that he's doing the right thing, you know. There's some of them, but so many of them are just like, fuck this, I need to get out of here, you know. They're just, you know, resigning, or, you know, they're retiring, whatever. Paul Ryan, you know, they're just like, fuck it, I don't need this. It's fatigue, you know. Every day you wake up, it's something crazy from somebody that's the president. It's not a reality show. This is real life, and people fucking die because of actions that this president is taking. It's not supposed to be entertaining. We would be much better off with Hillary Clinton in office. That's just a fact. It's a fact. I'm not saying that she was a great candidate. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's like we would be better off if Pence was in office, who I seen nothing about Pence. Very, very little would I agree with, you know, this guy, you know? But he's not, you know, he's not Trump. You know, Trump has too many issues. I'm sorry, that's just the way I see it, and I think that everybody needs to wake up. Stop watching these shows like Sean Hannity, and for God's sakes, don't listen to the person that's being investigated, okay? And he looks guilty. Think about it. Think about it. Go start watching. Look at it this way. You really think that ABC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, all of these national, right, the New York Times, all of them are fake news, but Fox is the real news? And do you ever listen to Fox, like they're, you know, with Shepard Smith or Chris Wallace? Do you ever listen to that, or are you listening to Sean Hannity and you think that that's the news? That's opinion. And the opinion is the same opinion of the guy that's being investigated. Doesn't that reek to you? Does to me. You're going to wake up, you're going to find out that Trump's doing something crazy, or is resigning, or is being impeached, or possibly indicted. They have Michael Cohen, his lawyer, did tape recordings of people. Okay? Trump could be indicted and could go to a state prison. He cannot pardon anything that is on the state level. He can only pardon federal stuff.